The Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. That's what Jesus is. We're supposed to see that. That is who he is. He is Emmanuel, God in the flesh. Jesus Christ is God's love in human form, present with us. The manifestation of God's grace in human form. He has the power, he has the ability, he has the privilege of forgiving sin here on earth. In fact, he is the one in whom that authority to forgive sin is vested. In fact, he's the only one who can forgive sins. Salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to men by which we must be saved. We need to understand that healing of sin is what Jesus came to do. That is God's purpose and God's intention from the very beginning. Sometimes I encounter folks that say, I wish Jesus hadn't come because, that condemns everybody. If we didn't have Jesus, we'd be all right. We need to understand that Jesus didn't come to condemn folks. People are already condemned. People are separated from God and condemned when they sin. Whether it's a lie, or lust, or gossip, or zillions of other ways that you can fall short of the glory of God in selfishness or negligence or rebellion. People essentially turn their back to the source of light and enter darkness when they sin. They're separated from the source of life. We need to understand that Jesus came not to condemn, but to sin. John 3:17, for God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. We need to understand that without Christ, the world is already lost. Before Christ, the world is lost. Before people come to Christ, the world is lost. The world that stands without Christ now stands lost. We need Jesus Christ. He is the means and the only means for healing sin-sick souls. Jesus is full of compassion. Jesus cares about all of people's problems, and he often heals in many other ways as well, but the healing of sin-sick souls is his real concern. That's his primary focus. That is his mission. Forgiveness of sins, healing souls. The folks came looking for physical healing, but Christ focused first on soul cleansing. That was and is what is really urgent. And that's what he focuses on, and that's his purpose. And now, notice also that seeking to heal sin-sick souls led Jesus to mingle with the sinners. He actually sat and talked and visited and drank with the tax gatherers. He sat in their houses and shared meals. We need to understand that Jesus reaches out to and engages with all kinds of people. He came for everyone. He associates with everyone. The healer needs to be with those who need healing. So the Pharisees were upset. They were offended. And Jesus tells them it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I've not come to call the righteous, but sinners. Those who are sick are the ones who need the doctor. So, in line with that, I would suggest we ought to pause and wonder, at least ask ourselves how we respond to those who are sin sick. How do you respond to folks who appear like they are spiritually in trouble? Their lives are messed up. Maybe they've got no concept of God or a religion. Are we hesitant or afraid to be seen around them? Are you shocked when you see folks in church who maybe don't fit in to presupposed, prescribed ideas and religious ideals? Or do you see them with a heart of compassion as folks in need of guidance? Maybe they need a hand up. Maybe it's obvious that they're not role models and they don't really have a handle on life, but they're folks that Jesus came to help. They are the folks that the doctor came to heal. Truth is, the doctor needs to be with the sick, the spiritually sick as well as the physical sick, and that explains why Jesus is with the sinners. What those Jewish folks, the self-righteous ones, probably did not realize was that they also needed a doctor. You know, I've not come to call the righteous. Doesn't mean I didn't come for you folks. His emphasis is that I came to folks who need help. And what those folks should have recognized was that they needed healing for their sin as well. And what is their sin? Maybe it's spiritual arrogance. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's being judgmental or something like that. We need to understand that we all have a need for Christ to save us from our sin problem. You and I need his help as well. Sin separates from God, the source of peace, the source of happiness, the source of real and abundant life. And I don't know what sin you might lay claim to. I'm sure there's plenty. But we need Jesus to help us out of that.